Welcome, everybody. I'm Shirley Hinton, and I'm glad you could join us. I am going to share my slides with you, and then we will get started. So if you need to reach me or if you have any questions, my email address is sph@teachpath.com, and I'm more than happy to help you. Well, it's been said that managing projects and walking on water are equally easy as long as both are frozen. And of course, when was the last time you had a frozen project that didn't change at all? That's part of the challenge of today's types of projects. And that's why we need to stay updated. So a little bit about me. For over 17 years now, I have been doing management training, PMP prep, program management certification training. I'm also a project management consultant, but Agile has become more prominent over the last decade or two. And so I've also got a lot of the Scrum Master types of trainings that I offer, as well as ITIL. And for those that don't have project management experience, the CAPM, which is a good certification. So I've gone into just about every company you can imagine in all different industries, and they all are able to use the information that they learn from the PMP and from the Scrum Master training classes, and then they apply it to their own situations. So I love signs, and I'm sure you've seen this one before, but I like it. We do three types of jobs here: good, fast, and cheap. You may choose any two. If it's good and fast, it won't be cheap. If it's good and cheap, it won't be fast. If it's fast and cheap, it won't be good. So how come we're always asked to do all three? So just to let you know, and of course you all know this, some, not nearly all, of the major issues that we see today have to do with communication issues, risk, quality, stakeholders. And so all of these are things that we learn about in the PMP certification specifically, and somewhat in the Agile certifications as well. So why certifications? People come to me all the time and they say, Shirley, I don't know why I bothered spending all the time and money getting an MBA or a PhD, because it seems like everybody wants the PMP. And then they email me 6 months later and they say, the PMP has helped me more in my career than any of those other degrees. And I think a lot of them tell me that the PMP is kind of like a miniature MBA program. So in 4 days, we cover, but very surface level, we cover a lot of the topics that you would delve into more deeply in an MBA program. But the tools and techniques that we're learning and the language that we're learning is really very similar. So why become certified, especially if you do have all those degrees and especially if you do have a lot of experience? Well, hiring managers are wanting it. Over the years, when I go into companies and I talk to hiring managers, they're often asking me the same questions. Shirley, what questions should we be asking in job interviews? And what answers should we be looking for to make sure that we get good people? And the easiest thing for me to tell them is somebody else has already asked those questions and somebody else has already checked to make sure they know the answers. So if they've passed a certification exam, you already know that they know the information. And then the next thing they ask me is, how do I know what a candidate knows? Well, the good news is a certification has a standardized body of knowledge. And that's not necessarily true when you take college courses. And your certification is relevant. It's up-to-date information. Most all certifications require recertification every 3 years or so. And that means you have to continually take training courses. The good news is, for most of the certifications, if you do remain updated, you don't have to take the exam again. Another question that hiring managers ask me is, how do I know if a candidate has value? Well, the knowledge that you learn in a certification class already has proven value, or they wouldn't be teaching it, they wouldn't be requiring it for the certification. And then many hiring managers are just trying to comply with contractual obligations because they realize that in a lot of companies, they won't even get awarded a contract unless they can assign a PMP certified project manager to that project. And so if they don't have enough PMP certified individuals, they're losing a lot of money. They're losing out on a lot of contracts that they could have otherwise. Most government contracts these days require PMP certified project managers to be assigned to those projects. Part of it has to do with the ethics component, and part of it has to do with the trust that they know that these people will have the knowledge that they need to manage a project successfully. So both internally, the hiring managers, and then externally, their clients want to hire PMP certified individuals because there's a strict code of ethics that they have to abide by. So, how long does it take to become PMP certified? Well, the class itself is a 4-day class. The one that I offer is 36 hours over 4 days. And the topics that we cover are managing risk, quality, change, communication, stakeholders, cost, schedule, scope, teams, leadership skills, procurement, and then agile and business value, which are two of the three components that have been added to the new exam just this year. So I like for my students to follow a 4-week timeline. I like for them to not do anything before they take my class because sometimes people get sidetracked, even just applying for the exam. So no, don't do anything before my class. The first day of class, I help with the wording on the application, and then I have my students email me, and then I'll help them with the application. I email them back, and we'll go back and forth until I feel like it's good to send to PMI. And so during the 4-day class, if they're doing that, then on the 4th day, they could submit their application to PMI online, and usually within a few days, they'll get back an approval to sit for the exam. And then after the class, I don't have people reread anything. I don't have them do any more studying. What I have them do is practice questions, hundreds of practice questions, so that you're honing your test taking skills. If I've done my job to you, I've helped you memorize the information during the class. So the only thing that I want you to be doing then is doing practice questions a couple of weeks after the class, and then go ahead and schedule your exam. You can schedule it 6 days a week, whatever your favorite hours are. You can take it online or in person. And then the day that you pass the exam is the day that you're certified. So I've had a lot of students do it in 3 to 4 weeks, depending upon your schedule, sometimes even faster. I've had them do it in 1 week, but that's the torture method. So just know it shouldn't take very long. So put yourself first for just those few weeks. Get it done. Get it checked off your to-do list. So what PMI requires, 35 hours of training as a minimum, and my course is 36 hours. And then if you have at least a bachelor's degree, 36 months of project management experience, but you don't have to have the title project manager. Leading projects or leading certain components of projects. So a lot more people qualify than you might think. If you don't have at least a bachelor's degree, then they want 60 months of leading projects, but you no longer have to break it down into specific hours or specific categories. So again, I'll help you with that. Don't worry about that. They've shortened the exam just a tiny, tiny bit. It's 230 minutes, 180 questions. Do take it as soon as you can, though, because they're adding different types of questions that used to be all multiple choice, and now they're prototyping certain other types of questions that will soon be added. I help you with your application, and I help you alleviate the fear because I don't want anything to stand in your way of getting that certification. It really does add value. So for those of you that are already certified, I am a contributor to the PMBOK and have been for several editions. I do offer a 1-day updates course, and the next one May 24th, and then I'll have others. But there are now just 3 domains you've probably heard: people, process, and business environment. Well, the process part still is the PMBOK. The managing cost, time, quality, and all of those other components, but then also agile, as well as the old traditional waterfall, and then hybrid, a mixture of the two. And so they have 3 domains, they have tasks, they have enablers now. So different terminology than what you're used to, but I'll help you through all that. I've done all the research. I've already seen the PMBOK 7, even though it's not even out yet. And then I have lots of memory tricks for you. So for those that truly don't have enough experience to qualify for the PMP, The CAPM, the Certified Associate in Project Management, is for you. So it's still a certification from PMI and still very valuable. So I actually offer the same class for both because I've found so many people that thought they didn't qualify for the PMP that actually did. So why PMP? PMI has done a study, and there have been several other studies done as well to confirm this, that just getting your certification, you will be getting 25% more on average in salary than your counterparts that are doing the same work that are not certified. Why? Supply and demand. As I mentioned before, your companies need you, or they're not going to be able to capture the contracts that they might otherwise get. And I have yet to know of a PMP certified individual that wasn't able to save their company 10 times their annual salary, just in improved processes, improved communication, keeping good employees because of their leadership ability. You know, there's so many things that add value when you're PMP certified, that you're the same person, but you've learned new tools and techniques that make you more valuable, but also you've got that rubber stamp after your name that everybody respects. I've been told that I teach people the right answers on the job interview questions, because so often the things that you're learning are the very things they ask about. How do you manage change? Well, I've got 5 steps for you. You just list those 5 steps and everybody is blown away. So this is what hiring managers want to know. They want to know that you will be effective and that you will be efficient, that you're a good communicator, a good decision maker, and those are all things that you will learn new tools and techniques to achieve those things in the classes. So you have a tool belt probably already, but you're going to be learning additional tools and techniques when you take these certification classes. So for the PMP, it's just one class, just a 4-day class. I know that there are organizations that try to stretch it out and spread it out, but it doesn't have to be that way. Um, Having PMP certification also differentiates you. When I talk to hiring managers, many of them say to me, Shirley, when I listed a job description, I didn't say PMP required, I said PMP preferred, because I wasn't sure that we'd get PMP certified people that had also all of the other things we're requiring, but I'm looking at those resumes first. So if you're PMP certified, your resume is going to get pulled first for those job interviews. And then if they can't find a PMP certified person that meets all the other criteria, then they're oftentimes willing to look at the resumes that are not certified. So do you want to be pulled first or do you want to be pulled last? Now, Scrum has become more and more common, and Agile is the general concept. Scrum has become one of the most popular flavors of Agile, and so PMP certification is on most of the management job descriptions these days, but closely followed by Scrum Master, especially in IT. So there's only one certifying body for the PMP, but there are several for Scrum Master. Uh, two in particular that I'll be talking about. Um, but also PMI has one called the ACP, Agile Certified Professional. Now for that one, you still do need a little bit of experience. For the other two that I'm going to be talking about, you don't need any experience. So all of the Agile / Scrum certification courses will talk about story pointing, a Scrum Master versus a product owner, a product backlog, Kanban, continuous improvement, and so lots of really unique tools and techniques that you'll be learning. The version of the Scrum Master that I teach is a 100-question, 2-hour exam. You take it at the end of class. You need 80% to pass, and it's a closed book, and that's for the SMC. There's a CSM from the Scrum Alliance that's a 50-question, 1-hour open book test, and you need 74% to pass. And then, as I mentioned, the PMI ACP, if you have at least a little bit of experience. What they require is 12 months of general project experience and then 8 months of agile project experience. Now, why agile? Some of you have worked a long time using traditional project management, and you keep hearing these buzzwords and you're wondering what's going on here. The world is changing. Well, agile is a way of accommodating change because you're working in sprints, in cycles usually, if you're using Scrum. You get fast feedback from the customers, and the customers like it because they're actually seeing their highest value items getting done first. And one of the key concepts of Agile is you're working at a sustainable pace, and so team members, you can keep good people for a long time. They're not burning out. They're not being chased away to go to other organizations. And the team members are self-directed. They take ownership. You have the 15-minute daily stand-ups where every single person tells you what they did the day before, what they're planning on doing today, what the barriers are, and they're telling each other as well. And so there's that accountability. So I've broken this talk up into two separate parts for an appetizer of the valuable tools, just a few of the many valuable tools from project management. I've got another video for you. Again, feel free to email me, sph@teachback.com, if I can help you in any way. I do hope to see you in one of my classes soon. I do hope that this has been of help to you. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.